Welcome back to the GSL Up and Down matches. I'm Wolf. With me is Kauder. Here are our current standings.
We have Hurricane with a 2-0 leading the group after he was able to take down MarineKing and also, of course, Bang in the last game. First with a victory over True earlier, and MarineKing, True and Bang, all three of them with an 0-1. And now we're heading into the game between MarineKing and First, which is already setting the pace for this group, since another victory for First would put him and Hurricane on the top of the group, with being the only players who took their matches so far. So that would be a very interesting development, since MarineKing would suddenly be 0-2 here.
Yep. Being 0-2 in a 5-person group means that you can't get out on your merits alone anymore. You have to hope for a tie. And at this point in time, True, he had a rough game in Zerg versus Protoss. He went for a timing, didn't do enough damage, didn't kill the Void Rays. MarineKing had a similar problem where he went for a timing attack, it did not work. So both these guys kind of coming from failed timing attacks into a completely different matchup.
Yeah, MarineKing has also to just work a little bit at his decision making. He was trying to go for a timing in his game against Hurricane, but the problem for him really being that he didn't have anything to deal with the Colossi of his opponent. So right now he has to show us a different matchup, a bit of a different style here. And Atlas is the map here. True, definitely a strong opponent, so I feel this is going to be one of the closer matches that we will see today, if MarineKing is not playing greedy and being surprised by his opponent. Yeah. But I feel at this point, being down one game, he has to play a little bit cautious. I feel for him it's really also a problem of confidence.
Yeah, it's definitely so. Like, he's got to keep himself together. He came into the chat all laughs, making a joke with Legend in the chat. So you can tell his mood is not where he's at the extreme of being frustrated to where he's blocked out. But if he loses this one, he's got to keep himself together in any other match that he plays later on, and also hope and pray. So taking this win is obviously very, very critical for him. But the same is true of True. Both of these guys are on 0-1.
To be honest with you, I think if MarineKing loses this game, he will drop out to Code A and will be crushed by his opponents later on in the group. I think that he is really struggling with the transition card of the Swarm. He doesn't do well in the GSTL, and I feel that can also him. If he's all smiles and jokes in the lobby, that's one thing, but I actually think that he's putting up a face here.
Maybe so.
If he now loses and suddenly finds himself 0-2 in the group, I feel that he will be just in a mental state where he cannot do anything about the group anymore. He might surprise me here, but I think that this is the turning point for MarineKing. He has to win this game, in my opinion, to really get the confidence to head into the later matches. It's going to be a tough one. True is a strong opponent to face, and we'll find out if MarineKing can do it, or if True gets his first victory here at the GSL Up and Down Group C of Colin Wolf.
Hello to the robot.
Starting to the bottom right with an 0-1 in the group so far, lost against First in his first match today. It is the Casper
Ace Team True
goes for a 10 pull.
10 pull for True, and starting to the top right we have the King of Marines, the Prime player.
MarineKing Prime.
True knows that MarineKing is a very greedy player, often goes Command Center first, and he's going to try to punish him for it. Goes to the Watchtower first.
If MarineKing goes for the CC first on the low ground, plays this too greedy, then he will pay.
Oh, he started an Overlord, by the way. This is not a 10 pull.
Okay.
I don't know. I guess it was when I was looking at MarineKing's side of the map, I did not notice that he started an Overlord. My mistake. He just made a 10 Overlord instead of making a spawning pool.
Alright, so no 10 pull here for True after all, and let's see how this is gonna work out. So yeah, then MarineKing can definitely go ahead and start his Command Center first.
I have to formally apologize. Like, I saw the drone going out to scout early, and I just saw the 10 out of 10 supply, and for some reason my brain was like, no, it's 10 pull for sure.
Now we have the head first here now for MarineKing, sorry, for True, so it's all fine. And MarineKing is going for a CC first, and he is going to build it on the high ground.
Yep, high ground here, not playing the super greedy MarineKing style. The drone's going to see this right away.
Yeah. Has been spotted, so True knows what's happening and immediately starts to attack the SCV.
Could go double hatch before pull out after seeing this.
Yeah, could definitely do that. It's one of the options that you have as a Zerg when you see that your opponent is going for a Command Center first on the high ground. You have also the barracks now being built to wall this off a little bit. Gas being taken, MarineKing's main base.
Yep, going for a quick gas, so he's really playing a little bit different of a style than you would expect to see from
Katz is gonna have a field day here.
Oh my god, he's doing it.
I love it. He's going for the proxy hatch, guys. This is a build that Katz has been showing, and that is so funny. I actually did a video on my YouTube channel about it, and Katz sent me a few replays. Big shout out to him. True has apparently been watching, and Katz is going to have a great day. Make sure to send him a tweet and tell him about it in case he isn't watching, at RootKatz. And if you want to see that build, then you can check it out on youtube.com/KALL.TV.
This is, he hasn't even seen it yet.
Okay, so what's happening here is that True is playing this also a little bit different. He goes into a fourth hatch. It doesn't only build the hatch at his opponent's natural and then go into pool. The thought process behind this is, if you get the hatch on the low ground, your opponent will not be able to place down the command center. So your idea is to delay mining time. The best thing that you can do as a Terran is build another barracks immediately and send out Marines together with LCVs. Make sure that you take down the hatch before the Queen is there. That is the idea behind it. But MarineKing is already going into the factory.
He doesn't see it. Now he sees it with his lift. So this is the first glimpse he gets.
What's happening here right now is that MarineKing will be up against it. We will very soon have a Queen that's going to be built. But because True headed into a fourth hatch, he is now late with the Queen. He's building the bunker. That is the most common response that you can have against this command center. What usually happens is that you are able to build Zerglings, and then even if the bunker finishes, you send out additional drones and build spine crawlers, so that the Terran player will have a very tough time of actually taking down the hatch. But we have now two drones heading out, but they are not heading over to the top left. So spine crawlers are not going to be an issue. True is playing this very different from what Katz is doing, and he's not gonna play this with the style that he's trying to hold the low ground.
Yeah, he cancels the links.
I actually think this is a little bit of a mistake here. Well, not really a mistake. I mean,
I don't follow the idea of why he would want to make the fourth or the third hatchery at home with it. I mean, maybe he just really wants to heavily delay MarineKing's command center, and that's the only idea here.
What I would have loved to see, he doesn't build a Queen over there, right?
No Queen.
Okay.
He made lings and canceled them, that's all.
I would have liked to see the Queen at this third, because then he could have put down one of his creep tumors. But he plays it a little bit different. So he goes into the fourth hatch and then into pool. And that allows him to get a really strong economy up. This is also one of the reasons why he takes the gas a little bit earlier than you would do when you are trying to hold this base at your opponent's natural. Because with the earlier gas and the speed then, you are a bit better set up against your opponent's move if he tries to push out. Yeah. So that's what he has to do right now. It's a very similar style, and the original idea is the same. You try to delay the command center on the low ground and try to get ahead with your economy, but it's a bit of a different variation. But the move itself already is awesome enough.
I like it because MarineKing is he's so behind in mining right now because of the risky third, timing that True had. Well, it's not actually risky in this case because there's nothing MarineKing can do to go out and pressure it. But the very fast hatchery. So he went 3 hatchery before pool. Oh, 4 hatchery in total, including the main base. 3 expansions. 3 hatch first, hatch in the natural, and then his third hatchery, all of which before his spawning pool. And MarineKing is going to have to wait so long before you can actually take the command center. It's still going to take a while before that fades away.
Yeah. So, and this is now one of those situations where MarineKing could actually just try to go for counter-aggression, but True is playing this very smart at this point. He's building his army up back at home, and he has those 3 bases before MarineKing can mine from 2. So the thought process between True's variation and the build that Katz is using is very, very similar. Delay the natural of the opponent, get the better economy, and not take him down or anything, but get a lead. Just get ahead of your opponent with the economy, and that's something that True can achieve here. He already has the speed upgrade for the Overlords, and he's now using them to get the scouting information in the main base. He knows everything that is happening here. Is preparing with Zerglings, with Roaches, with the Baneling Nest. Yep. MarineKing is trying to use this timing to move out and do damage. He knows that he's far behind in the economy, and if True shuts this attack down, he will win this game.
He is really flustered. I don't know if you caught that, but he accidentally had both of his command centers hotkeyed and lifted his main command center for a few seconds, lost a ton of mining, and then had to land it again. It's all about these Banelings, and the Baneling Nest is not quite ready yet. But he is setting up a nice flank here.
Yeah. He's using the flank already. The Widow Mine is down, and that was very important.
He's going to set up this awesome flank. The Siege Tank at the back, very exposed right now.
Baneling Nest is nearly done, but True has to be careful. The Overlords have speed, thank God, because if not, MarineKing would have taken them out. For MarineKing, things are not looking good. Yeah. If those tanks die, he will be in trouble. The Banelings are being built. MarineKing is a little bit desperate here. He's trying, but this is very difficult for him to deal with.
Yep, the Banelings, once they're done, he's going to roll in with them on creep, of course.
The hatchery. If he can kill the third base, that would be amazing for him. But now the tanks are being attacked. The Roaches are moving in. The Banelings as well.
He's got nowhere to run. Baneling hits here, not the best, but MarineKing just it's cleaned up here. The hatchery, on the other hand, will it fall? Looks like it will.
Yeah. Nice, he takes down the hatch. That much at least he can do. So this is now a position where MarineKing is 2 base against 2 base. And he's able to take this third, and this is the problem that you run in when you go for this 4 hatch before you go into pool. That you will have the better economy, but your opponent will have a strong army to move out.
And better tech.
Yeah. What happens if you try to hold the hatch at the low ground and your opponent doesn't go for the second barracks immediately, is that you have a bit of a contain that you can use with the 2 spine crawlers that you build and with the zerglings and queens that are sticking around. You won't hold it forever, but you will hold it a lot longer, and you will make sure that your opponent doesn't get this big army out because he has to deal with this first, and that gives you the safety to get your tech up. Yeah. So what True does is a variation that is designed to get a much better economy, whereas the 3 hatch style, where you try to hold the hatch at the natural, is more designed to get a huge lead in tech and then use the tech leak to overwhelm the opponent.
And in this case, MarineKing, he has an overwhelming amount of tech. He's going to have +1 very soon. He has so many siege tanks instead of Widow Mines in this case, and he's going into the 3rd command center, which he can move down relatively soon. I'd like to see True block that with creep yet again. As his lair is done, he starts Baneling speed right away.
I love that MarineKing had the balls to move out here and didn't play too cautious, that he really moved out, took down the 3rd, and this is, I love this game. This is so many good decisions that we have. But MarineKing now has such a strong force already. He's moving out with it once again, and the 3rd base that he's now going to claim will even be done a little bit before we have the 3rd base for True, who's also adding the macro hatch to just have the lava production. But right now, MarineKing is actually like really well set up. Taking down this 3rd was the most important thing for him, and he pulled it off.
That was a little bit late on the Overlord's creep spread there. He could have definitely done that a long time ago. But now MarineKing lands it. And as far as upgrades go, MarineKing with only 1 eBay, so he's going to be behind in upgrades as True finishes 1-1 right now, goes into the Spire, as you would expect. And the siege tank style, I'm wondering how it's going to work out for MarineKing, because this has basically disappeared from competitive part of the Swarm play, continuing to make siege tanks this late into the game.
Right now it's going to work out very well against those roaches. The transition later is going to be the important part. But this is definitely now a situation where MarineKing is going to be very happy with how this game developed, especially since at the beginning he must have been really worried.
Yeah. He kept his cool, I mean, he did make a few mistakes like accidentally lifting up his command center, but otherwise his defense and his transitions have been solid. Getting the armory now in the 2nd E-base so he can continue those upgrades out, but True on the other hand already starts 2-2.
Yeah, after Katz talked about this style, there was a lot of discussion of how to deal with it, what are the best choices that you can make, talked about the double barracks. If you head into siege tanks, you can take down the space, but it's really so difficult with a tank alone to kill that hatch fast enough. So True would have been really better off with this, given what MarineKing did. But now MarineKing is just using the strength that he has, the better tech that you already pointed out earlier. MarineKing is in such a good spot now. Flanks are going to be what True has to rely upon. MarineKing without that Widow Mine tech, I mean, you talked about it. We have the Widow Mines now coming up a little bit more, but the main core of the army is Tank Marine.
I think True is dead. He's got no army. He's trying to set up that flank from the other side, but maybe he goes for a counterattack instead, but that's not going to save him here.
Well, MarineKing is now setting up his forces, and if he can push into the natural of his opponent, it's going to be deadly. But this counter-aggression is moving in, and the Widow Mine, is not in position. Goes down immediately, and not a lot of defense for MarineKing back at home. He has a wall, and he lifts the supply depot just in time. The SCV is trying to repair. All of them are going to die here against the Banelings, but MarineKing is taking down the natural of his opponent to the bottom right.
Yeah, his army is just so much better. He's got twice the army supply of his opponent, a much better composition, and, yeah, he's behind in upgrades, but the upgrade's not finished yet for True, so it doesn't matter. And these Banelings not even going to finish. MarineKing looks like he's going to come in here and seal the deal, although...
Well, the Banelings are trying to move in here, but MarineKing has the upper hand here. He still has reinforcements on the low ground that he can send over to the 3rd base. He's already in the main and can now take down his opponent's tech.
Yeah, he's just got these production abilities. Camp, like you say, he's taking out the tech as well.
Yeah, and it's just so difficult for True to engage here. He's trying, but the force of MarineKing are set up. These units on low ground, they're not lazy or idle. They're just trying to take care of those units that swarm in from the left. And he's doing a good job. In the last second, he splits his Marines. The tanks are doing the damage. The drones are coming in.
Too much damage done here. He's fighting with drones at this point. And the MarineKing's army is getting very low on hit points, but he's killed the lair even at this point now.
And he's building reinforcements to the top right. He's down to 32 harvesters, but he has the additional mules and he's calling them down. Only 23 drones left, and things are not looking good for True, not at all.
Yeah, just look at the supply, 88 to 37. and MarineKing just thrashed this style. I mean, it's not that it's a little bit different of a style than what you were talking about before. It's just a contain rather than, or I mean, a delay rather than a contain, and MarineKing transitioned well.
He had great decision making here. He made great decisions, and he decided to roll with the tank Marines instead of heading into the Widow Mines. It was really well done. And I talked about how important this game is for MarineKing from a psychological point of view. Because with an 0-2 in the group, I feel he would have fallen apart here. But now with a win against True and being 1-1 in the group, I feel he will have the confidence to start the next few matches and have a very different mindset coming into those games. For him, I'm really happy. For True, it's of course quite the blow. He was playing this with a very, very original style, but right now MarineKing is just in such a massive lead that True will never be able to bounce back.
Yeah, there's no way. I mean, MarineKing's next wave of units is going to end him.
Yeah, there's no tech, there's no economy, he doesn't have anything.
Yeah, he lost the Spire. Everything is dead. He's forcing some scans here.
Well, even the Widow Mines that he has set up here, that is not... sorry, the Baneling Mines, that's not going to help him at all.
Yeah, definitely not. And this is his last stand. Once those Banelings are dead, he should type out GG.
GG, and this is it.
He keeps himself in it. He's now at 1-1. True, on the other hand, now has to hope for a tiebreaker.
MarineKing with a relief here.
Yeah, you can see it on his face. And True just looking a little bit, silent there. It was a good idea, but MarineKing's transition was too much for him to handle.
MarineKing is really still in a... Yeah, well, I don't want to say that he's freaking out here, but he knows that he still has a tough road ahead of him, that this is not going to be easy today. But he made the first step, and that's the important part.
No. Because now, his fate's still in his hands. Something that True cannot say about his chances of getting out today of the group. So, pretty solid defense by MarineKing. A very exciting match is what we just got the pleasure of seeing.
Yeah, and I think the next game, I actually messed up my match order here a little bit, so we're having a quick look, of course, at what the next game is going to be. It's gonna
First versus Bang.
First versus Bang, okay.
So different Pros player this time facing him.
Exactly. So he also has to play at the same matchup twice in a row right now. Bang that is, and against Hurricane, he completely fell apart against this Immortal push that he was facing.
Yeah, he's got a sick map to play it on, though. It is going to be Red City.
Yep.
And I'm excited to see how Bang plays against, maybe a more traditional style, because Hurricane kind of just walked in the front door without knocking in that particular Pros versus Terran.
Yeah, it took down the door, and Bang just didn't really have a chance here. Especially at the beginning when we had this sneak by with the 2 Stalkers and 1 Zealot, also, of course, the Mothership Core for the recall. That already did a little bit of damage, and definitely was a position where Bang was losing a bit of his timing here and a few seconds here and there. But right now, the group is developing to be really an interesting one. MarineKing now with a 1-1. True is now in a really bad spot at this point. He is already 0-2, so it doesn't look good for the Casper player here.
No, it does certainly not. And you can see MarineKing walking through there on the shot. Saved his chances for now. Bang! He is in trouble if he loses this game. He needs a win. He's going to be wanting to play very cautiously this time. Does not want to get Immortal pushed down on Red City. This map is very different than Akalon. There's a much larger rush distance.
Keep in mind that First already has 1 win. So if he takes down Bang, then he will also be 2-0 in the group, as is already Hurricane. The 2 Protoss players would then lead the charge here.
Yep.
Well, at this point, Red City being the map as already talked about. Protoss versus Terra now for the both here. And Banger, can he do it? The MVP player, this is the first time that he's really in the booth. He might be able to show us today what he's made of, but so far he has disappointed a little bit against Hurricane, though, a player who won both of his matches, and he's also going to play the next one. He's actually going to play against True, and the game against True is going to be very important, not of course for True in particular, but also for Hurricane, who could take a 3-0 lead in the group. But first of all, we are having a look at Bang versus First here at the GSL Up and Downs Group C with Colin Wolf.
Say hello.